Well, tonight we are very excited to welcome our first guest. He is one of the most prominent members of the Indianapolis community. You've seen him for many years in many ways, including the president of Grand Slam Companies, but all kinds of stuff. It is Milt Thompson. Milt, thank you for being with us tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here.
I don't know if we have time, but give us your resume real quick. Give us some of the stuff that you've been involved with over the years.
I've been practicing law for pushing 43 years and have been involved in a lot of community engagements throughout that time. Really a sports lawyer.
Yeah.
I've represented many of the professional athletes pound for pound that many people would recognize. I was general counsel for the Pan American Games way back in 1987 and was one of those people that went negotiated contracts with presidents of countries with whom we have no diplomatic relations. In fact, in front of Fidel Castro in Revolutionary Palace, and significant negotiations about getting their presence to the United States. The Community Foundation was a 27-year appointee from the federal courts, and was fortunate enough to be the president of the Indianapolis Foundation when we negotiated the merger for Central Indiana Community Foundation back in 1997. Then represent a host of organizations, companies, work with Crosswinds.
Yeah.
And trans community development, putting things together. I'm not very smart, but I do kind of know where people are, and I know how to kind of manage and make sure we connect dots.
Oh, I believe the second part. I'm not sure I believe the first part of what you just said. To do all of those things, you got to be pretty smart. Milt, tell me a little bit about, one other thing. You're normally, on this side of the whole sofa, chair, conglomeration. You are normally a host.
Yes, longtime media personality, if you will, from using my voice. I'm called The Voice on Playing for Keeps. Had done that show on national radio long time, called The Business of Sports, but we've kind of shortened it here for our brand here on WHMB, Channel 40. And everybody tune in here on WHMB on Friday nights at 9 p.m. And we're in a little cross marketing, right?
Yeah, I love it. And when you say forcefully with that voice to tune in here, I think people are going to do it.
Well, I would hope so. Well, I used to be a prosecutor once upon a time, so if they don't want to get on the wrong side of that room there, it'll be okay.
Right. Milt, let's talk about mental health.
Yes.
I know you care deeply about Indianapolis and this whole community, and you've done 1,000 things over the years to pour into this community. But you're working with Brightwood right now, and talk about some of the things that you're seeing out in the community when it comes to mental health.
Sure. Well, as you know, it has become heightened in terms of our awareness, at least, and many people have been helping us develop that. The problem is we have a lot of awareness, but we don't have a lot of cures. We don't have enough initiatives that are going out there until you look really at the Crosswinds organization and Lasting Change and the things that they do. They've done a great job in Northeast Indiana, and they've asked me if I would help them kind of develop a cadre of opportunities as well as partners in Central Indiana for that purpose. One of them is the Brightwood community, which they had to raise their community center some years ago, and now we're in a redevelopment phase. And part of the method to the madness is that we offer immediately some mental health services via Crosswinds, very similar to what we had accomplished at my other good friends and clients down at Shepherd Community Center, whereby why would they do mental health services when that's not the full range of the things that they ought to be doing? Right. They can contract that service out and get more providers. Now, the other thing that's really interesting there is when Mark Bowell and others, we went to kind of finding out what it is necessary. We would look at the people at Edna Martin and says, we would like for your providers to kind of look like our constituents. So it became the thoughts about how it is we create a pipeline of qualified counselors that happen to be of color. So we're working on that pipeline as well as expanding the services immediately with your current service providers to be sure that people who really need these services, because they typically are at the low end of the social economic chain. Yeah. How do we get them up so that they do not become a burden on society but become a contributing member of society?
Tell me about that need. We have been saying for years that it's been going up and up and up, but I think over these last 2 years with the pandemic, we've just never seen more need. Is that what you're seeing?
There's no question about it. The real question is, I think that any kind of service provision that's out there, you'll always have more need than you have service providers. That was true for years when I chaired the Big Brothers organization that ultimately led to a merger of Big Brothers and Big Sisters. But in that collaboration, they would say, well, kids don't keep. So how are you going to get more big brothers and big sisters? It says no matter what we say is the pipeline, there's always more need that's necessary. And since we're at WHMB, Jesus Christ he would say, let's go take a rest. Let's go to the other mountain because you know what? There's always going to be people that need. So we have to take a deep breath, study, and understand what the need is so that we can find the best provision for that. And the best way to do that is by asking those people that are in need, what do you need? Then how do we fulfill it?
Yeah, do you think we're doing that better than we used to?
We have to. And yes, we have to do it better because the resources aren't always available to do that. So we have to develop partnerships that can add to the mix. Not one person can do it all, right? And when are we most in need of Jesus and his services, right? As when we're most in need, when we don't recognize we have the capability of doing it on our own because we don't.
Another thing that has been a real problem, but I think is getting better, is stigma. And in that population in particular, my understanding is there is a stigma sometimes around getting counseling, getting help for your mental health. Are you seeing that subside a little bit?
I'm not sure it's subsided yet.
Okay.
But the effort is there to say, wait a minute, it's no problem to do that. When you have prominent people like Jim Irsay and the Colts and Darius Leonard and people that are well known are saying, it's okay to be sick. It's okay if I have a broken leg, right? To someone say, let's go get it healed. Well, if you have a broken spirit, don't you go to the places where you get your spirits healed? And that's true with our mental health. Should not be stigmatized. It should be glorified as an opportunity for people to become contributing members of our community and societies again.
But we're not there yet.
We're not quite there, no. That's why we need people to support Crosswinds and other organizations and Lasting Change and other organizations that are out there, and your Brightwood community centers and the places that are saying, we want to help here. You have to tell us how to help because we're not going to impose our help on you.
Are you hopeful, as someone who has spent his life basically pouring into this community, when you look around the landscape, are you hopeful?
I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful. One time back in my profession, just regular old practice of law kind of guy, bankruptcy used to be, stigmatized. Oh, you can't take care of your finances. You can do that. Well, after the pandemic, people are saying, well, wait a minute, I don't know how I got in this economic jam. Does that mean that you're a bum because you can't afford to stay out of bankruptcy or foreclosure or things like that? What it is, that we have to remove the stigma. We have baskets of help. And we're going to find the right basket for you. Sometimes we call them a lifeline, right?
Yeah.
We want to get caught by the net, and we want to help them by stretching the net. Because you know what? As soon as you think that you're the only one, it happens to you and someone around you. So we want to be sympathetic, empathetic, yet at the same time, we want to help lift up.
Milt, I could talk to you all night, but our time is up. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here tonight.
Well, thank you for all the work you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely.
For all the work you guys do.
We'll have to have you back on Restoring Hope.
Please.
Yeah, Milt, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.